It's finally here, an hour, heavy with destiny. A moment the heavens themselves refused to keep silent about. The 18th of September will not pass as an ordinary day. No, it has been carved into eternity, etched into your very journey, sealed by the hand of God Himself. A divine checkpoint is upon us, and when it arrives, everything shifts. Masks will fall, and the people you thought you knew best, the ones closest to your heart, will no longer be able to hide their secret. Chosen ones. This is not a message to take lightly. This is a warning cloaked in mercy, a revelation wrapped in fire. And I want you to feel this deep. You are not here by accident. If this word finds you, it is because heaven is pulling you into truth at the exact moment you're ready to carry it. Before we step further, type 777 the comments if you feel the Spirit stirring inside of you, because that simple act declares, I receive this revelation. All. And to every single one of you who has supported this channel, even through super thanks, my heart overflows with gratitude. Your faith, your prayers, your encouragement fuel this mission. Whether you've given or not, your presence here is divine confirmation that you are part of this unfolding story. But lean in now, because what's about to be revealed will test loyalty, expose intentions, and forever change how you see the people around you. The secret God must unveil is closer than you think, and once you see it, there is no going back. God's chosen ones. The closest person holds a secret God must reveal. There is a quiet tension that lingers in the air, almost like a storm forming on the horizon before anyone else can sense it. You felt it in conversations where words seemed simple on the surface, but carried an undertone of unease. You've noticed it in interactions where smiles did not match the weight behind the eyes. You tried to dismiss it as stress, fatigue, or even your imagination, but your spirit knew better. Deep within, you sensed that something was shifting, and heaven has marked the 18th of September as the day when what has long been hidden beneath subtle layers will finally be revealed in undeniable clarity. God's timing is never random. He waits until the vessel is strengthened before unveiling the truth. Just as He said in John 16:12, I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. The Lord never burdens His chosen with revelation before their spirit is ready to carry it. That is why this moment matters. What once would have crushed you with confusion will now liberate you with understanding. The veil is lifting, and illusions will collapse under the weight of God's light. But here is the piercing reality. Sometimes the very person closest to you, the one you trusted without question, is the one standing as the greatest obstacle to your divine alignment. Is it possible that the hand you once held in comfort may be the same hand sowing quiet discord into your destiny? Could the one who sat with you in laughter also be the one secretly harboring jealousy or doubt? And if that is true, how long has your spirit been warning you while your mind tried to explain it away? This is not a call to paranoia, it is a call to awareness. For as the book of Proverbs warns, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Think about how some people carry unspoken weights. Jealousy hidden in compliments, doubt hidden in affirmations, disruption hidden in what looks like love. On ordinary days you can filter it, manage it, and continue walking forward. But on a divinely appointed day, the frequency of heaven becomes so precise, so finely tuned that even the slightest discordant note is exposed. On the 18th of September, you will feel it not as confusion, but as revelation. Could it be that the very heaviness you felt in certain moments was heaven's way of training your discernment for this exact day? History itself echoes this pattern. The artist Michelangelo, though praised today, was once surrounded by rivals in Florence who tried to discredit his genius out of envy. Yet even in their resistance, his calling could not be buried. Similarly, chosen ones often discover that hidden opposition is the clearest sign of their destiny. But what happens when that opposition is sitting at your own table? What do you do when the betrayer eats bread from your own hand, as Judas did with Jesus at the Last Supper, John 13:26? This is why silence becomes your greatest weapon. You do not need to argue, accuse, or defend. As Exodus 14:14 reminds us, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Stillness will reveal more than confrontation ever could. Their words, their energy, their alignment will either harmonize with your spirit or clash against it in undeniable dissonance. And when it does, will you have the courage to accept the answer, even if it costs you familiarity? In the natural world, we see the same truth. A tree, when shaken by the wind, reveals whether its roots are deep or shallow. Likewise, when spiritual winds blow on this day, the people around you will reveal whether they are rooted in loyalty or merely standing close out of convenience. Will they nourish your soil or drain it dry? There is also a lesson to be drawn from history's darker figures. Take Brutus, the Roman senator remembered for betraying Julius Caesar. His name has endured, not for loyalty, but for treachery, forever etched into history as the friend who turned his blade against trust. The consequence of betrayal was not only Caesar's death, but also Brutus's eventual downfall. Driven to despair and ruin, what seemed like a clever plot ended in destruction, proving that betrayal always sows seeds of its own collapse. But here lies the hope for the chosen ones. When betrayal exposes itself, God always provides a path of protection. Psalm 91:4 says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." That is the promise being fulfilled when exposure comes. It is not rejection, but protection. Not chaos, but clarity. Modern voices echo this same principle. The late Maya Angelou, celebrated poet and activist, once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." These words resonate prophetically with the moment you are stepping into. For when the mask slips, when the smile no longer hides the weight of envy, you will finally see truth without distortion. So, chosen one, prepare your spirit. Anchor your heart in stillness. The 18th of September is not merely a date, it is a doorway. And when you walk through it, you will no longer carry unanswered questions about the ones closest to you. God himself is answering the silent cries of your heart. Their presence will either fuel you or drain you, and you will know the difference without doubt. Do not rush to repair what God himself is serving. Do not excuse what heaven is exposing. Stand, witness, and hold your peace. For this is not the end, it is the beginning of a new chapter where you are no longer deceived, no longer bound by half-truths. Isaías 43:19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" The new thing requires clarity, and clarity demands courage. Therefore, rise up. Do not shrink back. Do not allow the familiar to bind you when heaven is calling you forward. The 18th of September is marked in eternity as your moment of unveiling. Walk through it with holy boldness, knowing that God Himself is lifting the veil and aligning your path. And let your spirit stand tall, knowing that you are protected, guided, and chosen for such a time as this. Do not turn away, yet remain until the end. For what is about to unfold carries depth you cannot afford to miss. The 18th of September is not just another square on the calendar. It is a divine checkpoint etched into eternity. On this day, you will begin to understand why certain faces could stand beside you, yet never truly walk with you. Have you ever wondered why some of the people closest to your life caused the deepest unrest in your soul? Why did certain words linger long after the conversation ended, like echoes you could not silence? Why the smallest of their actions pierced you more deeply than the loudest storms? This is not an accident. It is heaven speaking in whispers that only the sensitive can hear. God has a way of aligning moments in perfect order. Eclesiastes 3:1 declares, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." The 18th of September is one such time, carved by heaven's hand, designed not to confuse you, but to clarify you. For when the heavens move, Earth trembles in agreement. This is why the rare six-planet alignment on this day carries meaning beyond astronomy. It is prophetic poetry written across the sky. If the Creator holds the stars in order, does He not also hold your life in precision? If He governs galaxies, how much more will He govern the unseen details of your relationships? What you once thought was random will be revealed as intentional, and what you assumed was coincidence will prove to be divine architecture. 6 planets align, not in chaos, not in disorder, but in the whisper of cosmic design. The heavens are not random, they are a mirror. Psalm 19:1 reminds us. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands. Just as rivers carve valleys with patience, and just as oak trees stretch upward, shaped by decades of unseen growth, so too, your life has been moving toward this moment of exposure and truth. Can a river rush against its own current? Can a tree uproot itself and still expect to grow? Neither can you remain tied to what no longer aligns with your spirit. Just as the tides respond to the silent pull of the moon, so your soul is being drawn by an invisible hand toward its destined course. And in that movement, anything false must fall away. Nature itself teaches this lesson. The wolf pack survives because it discerns who strengthens the group and who endangers it. The eagle, though mighty, casts away its own feathers when they become heavy, preparing for renewal. Even the sunflower knows to turn its face toward the sun. Never the shadows. In the same way, chosen ones must learn to discern where true light lies and where only shadows remain. Will you recognize which bonds nourish your destiny and which drain the very soil of your soul? Will you learn, like the migrating geese, that some journeys cannot be flown with every companion who began the flight? This is the wisdom of creation, that survival is not only about endurance, but about discernment of companions. This day, this alignment, is not about entertainment or spectacle. It is about reflection. What happens above mirrors what is stirring within. The silent order of the planets will reflect the silent alignment in your own life. Truth will rise to the surface. Relationships will shift. Patterns long tolerated will break. As Jesus said in Luke 8:17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." Hidden motives will reveal themselves the way cracks in stone reveal themselves after years of pressure. And though revelation may sting at first, is it not better to live in truth than to walk blinded by deception? Will you not trade temporary comfort for eternal clarity? Art and culture have echoed this truth. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, the prince declares, "There is a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will." The meaning is clear. Human plans may stumble, but heaven's design remained firm. In the same way, the 18th of September is not about your arrangement, but about God's orchestration. Every thread of betrayal, every delay, every unanswered question is being woven into a greater tapestry that you could not yet see. Think of a symphony. Each instrument seems independent, even chaotic in isolation. But when the conductor raises his hand, all sounds converge into one breathtaking harmony. Is this not how heaven orchestrates your life, turning fragments into melody and interruptions into divine rhythm? And this is what chosen ones must see. The alignment of heaven and earth converges with the alignment of your own soul. This is not merely a night sky spectacle, but a prophetic marker. Romans 8, 28 Surus. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. If God can align 6 celestial bodies millions of miles apart, how much more can he align the unseen details of your life for your good? Every delay you endured was not wasted, it was calibration. Every disappointment you faced was not rejection, it was redirection. Could it be that what you once saw as loss was actually heaven pruning your path so that you could finally bear lasting fruit? Yet the question remains, when the veil is lifted and the truth revealed, will you have the courage to walk away from what no longer aligns? Will you trust the hand of God even when it requires distance from the familiar? Will you step forward when heaven itself is declaring, change is not coming, it is already here? To remain still in the face of revelation is to deny yourself the promise God has already placed before you. To cling to what heaven has released is to chain yourself to a season that has already ended. Are you ready to let go of hands that no longer carry your future? For chosen ones, this is not about fear. It is about clarity. It is not punishment, but protection. It is not chaos, but divine order. The 18th of September is the moment where you will see why certain people, no matter how close they stood, could never enter the next chapter of your journey. Their season has ended, but your new season has begun. Like a caterpillar sealed in darkness before transformation, you too are being pressed into a new form. And when the wings of clarity break forth, those who once stood beside you may no longer recognize the person you have become. Therefore, reserve, anchor your spirit in peace. Guard your heart with discernment. The planets above may align for a moment, but the alignment within you will echo into eternity. Let this day mark the unveiling of truth, the breaking of illusions, and the birth of unshakable clarity. The door is open. Step through it with courage, for heaven itself has called your name. You are not standing in coincidence, you are standing in prophecy. And when history records this day, it will testify not of fear, but of faith, not of collapse, but of the courage to walk into the fullness of divine alignment. The presence of 6 planets gathered in a parade across the heavens is no ordinary sight. It is energy magnified, a resonance so undeniable that even those who never study the stars will feel it in their bones. 6 bodies of power, all aligning at once, pouring a concentrated stream of order into the atmosphere. Think about it, not random, not scattered, but synchronized. And when heaven synchronizes, earth responds. The sensitive among you will feel it, a restless mind that cannot sleep, a racing heart without reason, dreams too vivid to dismiss. You may wake in the night with an awareness you cannot explain, sensing a vibration stirring through your very being. This is not anxiety. This is alignment. This is your spirit being tuned, like a string on an instrument, to the very frequency that the heavens are resonating with. Physics itself testifies of this reality. When two frequencies move in resonance, they amplify one another. A tuning fork, when struck, can cause another tuning fork nearby to vibrate without touch. This is what is happening on the 18th of September. The heavens strike their note, and your soul vibrates in agreement. Does this not prove that you were designed to live in harmony with a greater order? And if harmony is God's design, how could deception continue to stand in your space without eventually being exposed by the sound of truth? As Jesus said in Matthew 10:26, "There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known." And here lies the key. As the planets align, the masks around you will no longer hold. Just as the sky arranges itself into perfect order, so too will the hidden truths of your relationships arrange themselves before your eyes. Who has walked beside you out of love? And who has clung to you out of need? Who is drawn by the light of your calling? And who has only sought to drain it for themselves? Will you have the courage to accept the answer, even if it costs you the comfort of familiarity? The 18th of September will not require you to ask these questions. The alignment will reveal them without hesitation. Architecture gives us another glimpse of this mystery. A building may appear flawless to the eye, but if its foundation is misaligned by even a fraction, the structure will eventually crack under pressure. Likewise, some connections in your life have stood beside you for years, but the alignment was never true. The cracks are only now beginning to show, because heaven itself is shaking the ground beneath them. And isn't it better that weak structures fall before they collapse on you completely? Psalm 127:1 declares, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." This is why discernment is critical. You cannot afford to build on misaligned foundations. The sixth planet parade brings clarity, but clarity can be overwhelming if you are surrounded by noise. Noise is the enemy of resonance. Silence is what allows frequency to be heard clearly. In psychology, we know that constant distraction desensitizes the mind, dulling intuition and perception. Spiritually, the same is true. On this day, silence will be your shield. Distance will be your defense. The very people closest to you may unknowingly try to pull you into distraction, into drama, into unnecessary tension, because they are unsettled by the clarity that threatens to expose them. Will you let their turbulence drown out the whisper of heaven? History, too, provides its witness. Nikola Tesla, the brilliant inventor, once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Though he spoke in scientific terms, his words echo a spiritual principle. The heavens are vibrating at a frequency of order on the 18th of September, and your soul is catching that signal. This is not chaos. This is God's architecture of alignment, tuning creation like a symphony until every hidden discord is exposed. And this is why it matters. Their words, their presence, their energy could interrupt what heaven is delivering directly to your soul if you are not careful. The alignment above is mirrored in the alignment within. Asamos 3:7 proclaims, "Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets." This planetary alignment is a sign, a whisper of heaven, revealing that nothing in your life has been random. The way the planets move across the heavens mirrors the way spiritual energy moves through your soul. Every orbit has meaning. Every distance has purpose, and when 6 celestial bodies align, it signals a rare and unshakable moment of clarity. This is why you may already feel restless, sensitive, unusually alert. Your soul knows what your eyes have not yet seen. Each planet carries its own message, not superstition, but symbolism, reminding you that heaven still rules the earth. Like Daniel in Babylon, who could read the handwriting on the wall, Daniel 5:12. The chosen ones will read the handwriting of the heavens and understand what others dismiss. Do you see why your sensitivity is a gift? Do you see why your restlessness is not weakness but preparation? Therefore, guard your space on the 18th of September. Anchor your soul in silence. Step away from the noise that tries to bind you. For this is no ordinary parade. It is the Creator conducting His orchestra of truth. And when the last note reverberates, masks will fall, motives will be exposed, and clarity will stand taller than confusion. The alignment is here. Chosen one, rise up and let the architecture of heaven build your next chapter. Mercury speaks of words, of communication, of the truths that can no longer remain buried. It is the planet that mirrors the whisper of the spirit when conversations suddenly shift, when tone pierces deeper than content. Venus points toward the matters of the heart, who truly values your presence and who clings only out of desperation, unable to walk their path without consuming yours. Mars, fiery and relentless, represents energy but also conflict, showing you where your battles have strengthened you and where they have only drained you. Jupiter, the great magnifier, expands everything it touches. Blessings grow brighter, but illusions also grow heavier if you keep feeding them. Saturn arrives as the stern teacher, calling you to responsibility, to cut ties with cycles that no longer serve your highest calling. And Uranus disrupts, suddenly, violently if it must, demanding change so that what is false can no longer stand. 6 cosmic forces moving in unison, converging into a single prophetic announcement. It is time to see clearly, and this is why you, the chosen one, must pay close attention. For on the 18th of September, those closest to you may begin to reveal themselves in unexpected ways. Conversations may carry tones you've never noticed before, as if words themselves have been sharpened by unseen blades. Questions that seem harmless may suddenly feel heavier, carrying a weight your spirit cannot ignore. Invitations may arrive, wrapped in innocence, yet inside you feel the unmistakable pull of distraction. Are these mere coincidences? No, these are signals. These are divine tests, designed to expose alignment or reveal fracture. As Jesus declared in Matthew 7:16, "By their fruits you will recognize them." Could it be that this alignment is heaven's way of showing you the fruit of every relationship around you on this day? Protecting your space is not rejection. It is recognition. It is respect for your own evolution. A declaration that you will no longer compromise clarity for comfort. The strongest decision you will make is not to argue, not to explain, not to defend, but to step back, to let silence become your language. For silence, when anchored in truth, is not emptiness, but authority. And those who truly belong in your life will not resist your boundaries, they will honor them. As Proverbs 27:6 reminds us, wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. Who in your life has been multiplying kisses while secretly undermining your path? Those who are not meant for you will push, resist, and question. In their resistance, their true nature will emerge. Masks will fall. Hidden roles will be exposed. Friends, supporters, confidants will be tested against the reality of their energy. Do they uplift you? Or do they drain you? Do they honor your path? Or do they keep you trapped in theirs? And will you have the courage to act on the answer when heaven lays it bare? History bears witness to this truth. Take Judas Iscariot, the disciple who walked with Jesus, ate bread with him, and yet sold him for 30 pieces of silver. Matthew 26-15. His betrayal was not from a stranger, but from the closest circle, and yet his betrayal only fulfilled prophecy, proving that sometimes the greatest opposition is simply the tool God uses to push you into destiny. In contrast, the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans 12:2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This transformation requires letting go of voices that only echo the world's patterns of manipulation and control. For a modern echo, think of Nelson Mandela, the South African leader who spent 27 years in prison but refused to let bitterness govern him. He once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." His life teaches us that even when surrounded by enemies or false allies, clarity of purpose cannot be stolen. And if Mandela could rise from betrayal and confinement into leadership that changed nations, how much more can you, chosen one, rise into your divine alignment when heaven itself is calling you? Yet villains also leave lessons. Benedict Arnold, once a celebrated American general, whose betrayal during the Revolutionary War made his name synonymous with treason. His ambition blinded him, and his legacy was forever stained. Remembered not for his victories, but for his disloyalty. His story reminds us, those who resist alignment eventually collapse under the weight of their own deception. Could it be that some people in your life are standing at the very same threshold, their choices about exposing them for who they truly are? The 18th of September is not simply a date, it is a divine unveiling. The 6th planet parade shines its light, not so you may judge, but so you may choose. Choose alignment, choose peace, choose clarity. Even when it costs comfort, this may feel uncomfortable, even lonely. But as Isaiah 41:10 declares, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you." When heaven commands you forward, no betrayal, no false alliance. No resistance can hold you back. Therefore, rise up, anchor yourself in silence, guard your soul with discernment. The heavens are aligning, but more importantly, your spirit is aligning. And when that alignment is complete, the masks will fall, truth will surface, and your next chapter will open with clarity. The 18th of September is marked as a day of unveiling. Stand, chosen one, for heaven itself has declared, you are ready. You may feel guilt for stepping back. You may wonder if distance makes you appear cold or unkind. But true spiritual strength is not in pleasing everyone. It is in knowing when to protect the sacred flame inside you. It is in discerning the right time to close the door, the right moment to remain still, the holy wisdom to let the world knock while you keep silence as your shield. This is not cruelty, this is clarity. And clarity is heaven's gift in this sacred alignment. Isaiah 30:15 declares, "In quietness and trust is your strength." Could it be that your greatest power will come not from what you say, but from the peace you refuse to surrender? So what should you do on the 18th of September? Keep your energy clean. Stay rooted in stillness. Write your thoughts down, for insights will come swiftly. like sparks in the night, and you will not want to lose them. Pay attention to your dreams, because the alignment may speak to you in symbols as you sleep. Did not God warn Joseph of Egypt through dreams? Genesis 41:116. The same Spirit who revealed famine and provision can reveal truth and protection to you in the night hours. Drink water to refresh your body, for your spirit is tuning into a higher frequency. Step outside if you can, and lift your eyes to the sky. The vastness above is not empty. It is a reminder that you are part of something infinitely greater, and your steps are being woven with divine timing. Most importantly, limit your exposure to negativity. If someone's words feel heavy, do not carry them as if they are your own. If someone's presence drains you, create space as an act of reverence for what God is building within you. Proverbs 4:23 warns. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Protecting what is rising in you is not selfishness, it is stewardship. For the truth is this: the sixth planet parade is not about the sky alone. It is about you, your next step, your unfolding, your transformation. Nature whispers this truth in every corner. The snake sheds its skin because the old layer cannot contain new growth. The cicada waits underground for years, hidden, until the appointed season calls it forth in song. Even the mountain peak, carved by centuries of wind and water, teaches that endurance reshapes everything in time, and so must you shed, wait, and endure until what is false breaks away and what is true stands unshaken. Will you dare to release the shell of what no longer fits? Even if it leaves you feeling vulnerable for a season, this day carries a frequency that does not merely pass. It lingers, it reshapes, it teaches. You may find your emotions sharper than usual, that the words of others land with unexpected weight, that even silence feels louder. This is not a coincidence. It is the mirror of heaven reflecting your soul back to itself. Hebrews 4:12 declares, "For the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart." The alignment acts in the same way, cutting through appearances, laying bare what truly lies within. Will you dare to look into that mirror without turning away? The arts of the world echo this moment in Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, the sacred mass he composed. The Kyrie rises like a whispered prayer breaking into thunder, capturing the tension between frailty and glory. That same tension rests on the 18th of September, a whisper of heaven rising into a roar of revelation. Just as Beethoven's chords expose both silence and storm, so too will this alignment expose both truth and deception around you. What symphony is your life playing? One of harmony, or one of hidden dissonance waiting to be resolved? If you are weary of repeating the same cycles, the 18th of September opens a doorway. But that doorway does not shout, it whispers. It does not force itself into your awareness. It nudges. This is why Jesus said in Revelation 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." The Spirit will not break the door. It will invite, and you must decide if you will rise to the open. The invitation may come as subtle as a shift in atmosphere, as soft as a quiet thought that refuses to leave, or as deep as a dream that feels more vivid than waking. Will you hear the knock, or will you drown it in noise? Therefore, the chosen one rises into discernment. Protect your inner sanctuary. Let silence be your defense. Truth be your compass, and alignment be your shield. On this day, do not fear the unveiling, for the unveiling is your freedom. Step into the frequency of heaven, and you will see Doors that no one can close will swing wide before you. The 18th of September is not just marked on calendars, it is marked in eternity. Walk through it boldly. For heaven has prepared you for such a time as this. Notice which thoughts bring you peace and which ones spin you endlessly in circles. For the truth of this day is not about making dramatic moves or rushing forward into noise. It is about the clarity that comes in stillness. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs do not arrive in moments of struggle or force. They arrive in the quiet realization that you no longer need to fight. You do not need to argue to be heard. You do not need to chase what is already fading. You do not need to grasp tightly at what heaven has already released. What is aligned with you will remain without effort. What is not aligned will drift like chaff in the wind, and your only task is to allow it. Could it be that your strength today is not in doing more, but in finally resting in what God has already aligned? Yes, those close to you may sense the shift rising inside you. They may ask questions, their tone sharper than before. They may pull on you, hoping to drag you back into familiar cycles, into patterns that once defined you but no longer serve your soul. Do not interpret this as betrayal. See it as confirmation. It is evidence that your frequency has changed, that you are outgrowing what once felt normal. As Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 5:17, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here." Growth is not rejection, it is transformation. But will you have the courage to stand in that transformation when others do not understand it? When this resistance comes, do not fight. Do not explain. Protect your space as though it were a sanctuary. Guard your energy as though it were oil for your lamp. Protect the quiet strength rising in you. Think of the 18th of September as a reset button hidden in plain sight. A divine opportunity to stop carrying burdens that were never yours to begin with. Psalm 55:22 calls out, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." This day is an invitation to lay down the weights you've carried too long, to let heaven sustain you in the silence. Science itself reflects this truth. In physics, inertia teaches that objects in motion remain in motion until acted upon by an outside force. Many of you have been spinning in cycles not because they serve you, but because they simply continued. Today, heaven provides the outside force, the interruption of inertia that allows you to reset direction. Psychology calls this pattern interruption, the breaking of unconscious cycles that keep us bound. Can you see that the 18th of September is your interruption? Your chance to stop moving in circles and step onto a straighter path. A chance also to trust timing. Architecture reminds us that the strongest cathedrals in Europe were not raised in a day. They were laid brick by brick, generation by generation, with vision that far outlived the builders themselves. Your life, too, is being constructed according to a blueprint far greater than your present perspective. Hebrews 3:4 declares, "For every house is built by someone, but God is the builder of everything." If something is being removed from your path today, it is not demolition, but renovation. Will you trust the architect of eternity even when you cannot yet see the finished design? Voices of history have echoed this wisdom. The psychologist Viktor Frankl, survivor of the Holocaust and author of Man's Search for Meaning, once wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." His life, lived under impossible suffering, proved that clarity is not about controlling what surrounds you, but about transforming the way you respond within. The 18th of September carries this same challenge, not to control, but to be transformed. not to cling to what is leaving, but to embrace the new identity being born in silence. So if you feel the pull to unplug, to step back, to say, no, listen, that is not a weakness, that is guidance, that is alignment. Your spirit is telling you that this day is not for noise, not for conflict, not for distraction. It is for clarity. It is for peace. It is for remembering who you are when no one else's energy is clouding yours. Isaiah, so esqueçam tre promises. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. And when you reach the end of this day, you may look around and realize something astonishing. Nothing outside you seems to have changed. Yet inside, everything has shifted. Because the greatest shift is not in the world, it is in the architecture of your soul. And here is the truth. No one will tell you. The 18th of September carries a weight that cannot be measured by ordinary time. This day has been marked in eternity, long before your awareness caught up to it. It is not another turn of the calendar. It is a spiritual threshold. On this day, frequency intensifies, resonance sharpens, and what has been hidden behind smiles, silence, and familiar patterns finally unravels. Revelation 3:8 affirms this. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. The door is before you now. Will you walk through it? Therefore, the chosen one rises. Do not waste this day explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding. Do not waste it clinging to doors heaven has closed. Anchor yourself in silence. Honor your clarity. And trust the architect who has designed your path. For the 18th of September is not just a date. It is a divine threshold. Step through with courage. For heaven has aligned this moment for you. God has allowed this moment not to hurt you, but to awaken you. Because awakening is often hidden in discomfort. Sometimes the only way the eyes of your spirit open is when the masks of others begin to slip. And today, those masks are slipping, not in the loud betrayals or dramatic confrontations you might expect, but in the subtle exchanges, the shift in tone, the pause in conversation, the unspoken heaviness you feel in the air. Could it be that the whispers you've ignored were never your imagination, but the Spirit's quiet warnings? You may begin to notice it most in the person closest to you, the one you lean on, the one whose presence once brought comfort. Their nearness may suddenly feel heavy. Their words may echo differently than they once did. Their energy may leave you unsettled rather than secure. This does not mean they are your sworn enemy. It does not mean they consciously wish you harm. But what it does mean is that their vibration, their frequency, their spiritual alignment is not synchronized with where God is taking you next. And today, that misalignment will not be hidden. As Amos 3:3 asks, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? How long can you keep walking with someone whose direction no longer matches yours? This is why your sensitivity has been rising in recent days. This is why you felt restless, withdrawn, fiercely protective of your space. You are not overthinking, you are being guided. The Spirit is whispering, step back, protect your peace. Allow the truth to surface without your interference. Psalm 46:10 says it clearly, be still and know that I am God. Could it be that stillness itself is your strongest weapon in this unveiling? For on this day, the challenge is not about action, it is about recognition. Will you see clearly what heaven is showing you? Will you dare to trust the restlessness inside you, even when it conflicts with the words of those you love? The truth is this: closeness can cloud clarity. Familiarity can blind you to patterns you would instantly notice in a stranger. That is why God chose this moment, not to punish you, but to strip away the veil, to sharpen your vision, to remind you that love without alignment can still wound, and comfort without truth can still cost you peace. Scripture warns us of this tension. In Judges 16, Samson loved Delilah, but her heart was not aligned with his calling. His closeness to her clouded his clarity until the day her betrayal cut his strength from him. Is this not the danger of attachment without discernment? Could it be that God is rescuing you from the very same trap? Before the weight of misalignment robs you of your strength, you will begin to see the difference today between those who strengthen your spirit and those who unintentionally weaken it, between those who carry you toward destiny and those who quietly anchor you in delay. And yes, it may hurt, it may sting, it may feel like loss, but understand this: it is not loss, it is revelation. Revelation is heaven's way of clearing your path. As John 8:32 declares, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. End of Flea. History 2 leaves its witness, Florence Nightingale. The woman known as the founder of modern nursing once said, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. Surrounded by doubters, resisted by institutions, she refused to bend to voices that tried to keep her small. Her clarity became her compass, and her life reshaped the medical world. If she could rise above opposition by guarding her focus, can you not also rise by guarding your peace?" And villains write their own cautionary tales. Caiaphas, the high priest who schemed against Jesus, wore the garments of authority, yet carried the corruption of fear. Believing that silencing the Messiah would preserve his influence, he condemned truth himself. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. Isaiah 5:20. Instead, his name was stained in history as the man who plotted against the Son of God. His consequence was eternal exposure, while Christ rose in glory. Does this not remind us that those who resist alignment with God's will always collapse under the weight of their deception? Modern voices echo this principle. Maya Angelou once declared, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." And the statesman Winston Churchill, who carried a nation through war, said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Both remind us of the same lesson. Scripture already taught that discernment is not about chasing distractions, but about holding focus on the higher call. And so, chosen one, understand, your destiny cannot be delayed simply because you are afraid to step back from what no longer resonates with your soul. Misalignment is more dangerous than distance. God is not asking you to stop loving. He is asking you to start discerning. Test everything. Hold fast what is good. Abstain from every form of evil. 1 Thessalonians 5:21-22. On this day, the masks will fall. The tones will shift. The truth will show itself. Will you be brave enough to accept it? Therefore, rise up. Protect your space. Anchor your heart in stillness. Let peace be your guardrail and clarity your guide. For this is not loss. This is not betrayal. This is revelation. And revelation is the doorway into freedom. The 18th of September is marked not as an ending, but as the moment heaven sharpened your sight. Walk forward with courage, for the Spirit has prepared you to see. God is not exposing this truth to punish you. He is exposing it to protect you. The unveiling of hidden motives is never meant to break you down. It is meant to guard you from harm before it takes root. So if you find yourself today receiving a message, a call, or an invitation that feels just a little too demanding, a little too insistent, Take notice. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. If the one closest to you suddenly feels strangely distant in spirit, even while sitting right beside you, do not dismiss it as imagination. That is alignment, speaking louder than appearances. Could it be that what you feel deep inside is heaven's way of protecting you before deception has a chance to strike? And if your heart urges you to stay quiet, to resist the urge to explain or justify, trust it. Every time you honor silence, you strengthen the invisible shield around your soul. Proverbs 17:27 reminds us, the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Today is not about confrontation. It is not about rejection. It is about protection, and protection is God's mercy in disguise. Protect your emotions. Protect your focus. Protect the delicate work God is shaping inside you. On the 18th of September, your assignment is simple but sacred. Guard your energy with vigilance. For what is rising within you is too vital to be disturbed. You may notice conversations feel different. Questions once harmless now seem weighted. A loved one may ask with persistent curiosity, pressing into your personal choices, your private reflections, your inner movements. On the surface, it appears ordinary, but deep within, you sense intrusion. This is your inner alarm sounding. Will you listen to the warning, or will you allow familiarity to mute your discernment? Nature itself teaches the same truth. The tortoise survives storms not by outrunning them, but by retreating into the strength of its shell. The pearl forms in silence, hidden in the oyster, protected from the grit of the world until its beauty is complete. The redwood trees of California lock roots beneath the soil, unseen, to strengthen each other against the weight of centuries of wind. And so it is with you. Sometimes your survival, your growth, and your beauty depend not on fighting, but on retreat, on stillness, on choosing where and when to expose what is forming within. This is the danger of closeness. We assume proximity means alignment. We think because someone has walked with us for years, they must be safe for our spirit. But God is teaching you now, even the nearest ones can carry energies that disrupt your growth. Not out of deliberate malice, but out of misalignment. And on this day, that misalignment will be exposed. Jesus himself warned in Matthew 10:36. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. If it happened in his story, why should you be surprised when it happens in yours? You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You do not need to withdraw in bitterness. All you need to do is trust the pull of your spirit. If something within you says, "Not now, not today," then honor it. Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Today belongs to silence. For even the smallest interaction on this day could redirect your steps if you allow it. Could it be that your destiny hinges not on what you say, but on what you withhold? The arts echo this wisdom. In King Lear by Shakespeare, the king misjudges his daughters, confusing words of flattery with genuine love. His failure to discern leads to tragedy, but hidden within the play is a timeless warning. Not every voice close to you carries truth, and not every silence is empty. How many times have you confused volume for loyalty, or proximity for love? Today, heaven calls you to reverse that mistake. Isaiah 30:3 promises. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." That voice may come not as a shout, but as a whisper. It may rise not in debate, but in the quiet assurance of stillness. Your silence today is not emptiness, it is obedience. Therefore, chosen one, rise into wisdom, guard your space, honor the whisper over the noise. Let silence shield you and discernment guide you. The 18th of September is not merely a date, it is a divine safeguard. A shield raised by heaven to protect what God is planting in you. Stand firm, protect your energy, and step forward with courage, for when the masks fall and the truth is revealed, you will see that silence itself was your greatest strength. Why does your solitude hold more power than any conversation you could ever have? Because solitude is not absence, it is alignment. It is the space where noise dissolves and truth emerges. The reality is this: not every moment requires your participation. Some moments only require your observation. And today is one of those moments. Watch, listen. Notice who respects your space and who pushes against it. Notice who brings peace into your presence and who brings restlessness. These small details are seismic. They reveal more truth than any confession ever could. Could it be that silence itself is the courtroom where people's true intentions are tried and revealed? But here lies the hope. This exposure is not here to break your heart. It is here to strengthen your discernment, to teach you that your spirit is a compass that will never mislead you. Jeremiah 17:10 reminds us, I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind, to reward each person according to their conduct. Even when your emotions try to silence it, your spirit remains connected to heaven's frequency. Clarity is God's gift, though it may sting. It is the purest form of protection He offers. Protection not through walls of stone, but through vision that cannot be deceived. Chosen ones, hear this. When God pulls back the curtain on someone close to you, it is not cruelty, it is construction. He is preparing to move you into a season where only aligned energy can walk beside you, and alignment is not negotiable. Can a building stand tall if its foundation is cracked? Can a symphony stay beautiful if one instrument refuses to play in tune? No. And you cannot rise into what God has called you to if you are weighed down by energies that drain, distract, or diminish you. Hebrews 12:1 exhorts us. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Will you release what entangles, or cling to what slows you down? This is why today matters. This is why the 18th of September carries such significance. If you have wondered why you've felt unusually tired, why your patience has grown thin, why you have craved moments of solitude, it is not random. It resonates. Your body has been mirroring what your soul already knows. The unveiling is near. You are being prepared for separation, not in the physical sense, but in the energetic. You are learning to walk lighter, freer, unshaken by the constant pull of other people's opinions. Isaiah 41:10 promises, so do not fear, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and help you. Could it be that the weariness you felt is not weakness, but the stretching of your soul into new strength? Think of it through the lens of science. In physics, resonance occurs when one object vibrates at the natural frequency of another, amplifying its sound. If two frequencies do not match, the sound collapses into dissonance. This is what relationships feel like when they are no longer aligned. You sense the disharmony long before words are spoken. And psychology affirms this too. When your nervous system is overwhelmed by environments that do not support growth, it sends alarms in the form of anxiety, restlessness, or even exhaustion? What if your fatigue has not been failure, but revelation? Real-life voices confirm this truth. The writer C.S. Lewis, once a skeptic who became one of Christianity's most profound thinkers, observed, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." His journey shows us that clarity often comes in solitude when the crowd fades. Truth speaks loudest. And if Lewis could rewrite his ending through discernment and surrender, can you not also trust that God is reshaping yours right now? Yes, solitude may feel lonely at first. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable. But loneliness is not your destination. It is your preparation. Joseph sat alone in prison before he sat in Pharaoh's palace. Genesis 41. David tended sheep in obscurity before he carried the crown. 1 Samuel 16. Even Jesus withdrew often into solitary places to pray. Luke 5:16. Why should your story be different? God is setting you apart not to leave you empty, but to make you ready. Ready for connections that are real. Ready for people who are true. Ready for opportunities that cannot unfold until the false weights are removed. So today, pause, breathe, protect your space. Do not over-explain why you are unavailable. Do not apologize for choosing peace. Ecclesiastes 3-7 declares there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Today is the time for silence. For silence is not retreat, it is reset. And the ones destined for your future will understand, while the ones offended by your silence were never aligned to begin with. Therefore, chosen one, rise into your solitude. Guard it as sacred. Walk through this unveiling with courage. The 18th of September is not the end, it is the threshold. And when you honor it, you will find that clarity was not punishment at all, but preparation for the doors God Himself is about to open. The ones not meant to continue with you will resist. They will push back against the shift they feel in your spirit, even if they cannot name it. And in that resistance, you will see the truth as clearly as sunlight piercing a shadow. Here is the secret most will never tell you. Silence reveals what words cannot. Stillness exposes what constant motion hides. And distance, even if only for a single day, can show you more about who truly values you than years of constant conversation. Could it be that what you've been straining to understand for years will be revealed in just one day of quiet separation? So it remains today. Stay clear. Stay discerning. And watch how much truth is revealed without you lifting a finger. Isaías 30:15 declares, "In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." That strength does not come from confrontation, but from stillness. Because when the sun sets on the 18th of September, you will not only feel lighter, you will feel freer. And that freedom itself is proof that you listened, that you trusted, that you chose your soul's protection above every pressure to perform, explain, or justify. After this unveiling, you will notice something curious. Outwardly, the world around you will look the same. The faces will be the same. The voices familiar, but it will no longer feel the same. Because once you see the truth behind those closest to you, you cannot unsee it. Their words will carry new weight. Their actions will reveal more than they intend. And your spirit, sensitive and alert, will begin quietly separating from what no longer serves your future. Why does what once felt safe now feel suffocating? Why does what once sounded comforting now sound hollow? These are not signs of loss, they are signs of revelation. John 8:32 declares, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Revelation is never subtraction, it is liberation. Understand this deeper truth. God never exposes without purpose. If a mask falls today, it is because you are finally ready to live without illusions. You are no longer the version of yourself that ignored the unease, explained away the red flags, or accepted closeness without discernment. Today, you step into sharper sight. Today, your ears hear what words cannot say. Proverbs 4:23 warns. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guarding your heart is not coldness, it is obedience to God's wisdom. And with this clarity comes freedom. But freedom is never without cost. Freedom requires courage. Courage to hold your boundary when someone pushes against it. Courage to step back when they demand you lean in. Courage to say, "Not today," when your spirit warns this is not the moment for connection. Will you have that courage? Will you choose clarity over comfort? Truth over attachment? Peace over pressure? Protecting your peace does not make you unkind, it makes you wise. The lives of great leaders testify of this. Mother Teresa, known for her compassion, once said, "If you want to change the world, go home and love your family." Yet in her writings, she admitted that she often felt misunderstood, even resisted, by those nearest to her mission. Still, she chose discernment, silence with God over noise with people. Her life shows us that even love must be guided by clarity, or else it collapses into exhaustion. History also warns us through its villains. King Saul, though chosen to lead Israel, allowed jealousy to poison his heart toward David. Instead of celebrating God's favor, he resisted it. Threw spears at the very one sent to strengthen his kingdom. In the end, Saul's inability to release misalignment cost him his crown, his peace, and his legacy. How many today are risking the same downfall, fighting the people God sent, resisting the clarity God revealed? As you protect your space today, something else will begin to happen. You will notice clarity flooding into your mind. Ideas will flow easier, as if the static interference has been cleared. Decisions will feel lighter, no longer weighed down by unseen resistance. Even your body may feel calmer, as though a heavy stone has been rolled off your chest. Philippians 4:7 promise. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That peace is the confirmation. That shift is the sign that God's timing was perfect. Suppose. Breathe. Anchor yourself in the silence. Do not let the resistance of others lure you back into patterns God is breaking. Do not let familiarity trick you into thinking you owe your presence where your peace cannot survive. When you feel the weight lift and clarity rise, you will know this was not coincidence. This was God's design. Therefore, chosen one, rise into your discernment. Protect your space as if it was sacred ground. Stand in silence with the confidence that heaven is fighting for you. The 18th of September is not the end of something fragile. It is the birth of something untouchable. Walk forward in courage. For what God has revealed today will prepare you for what no man can take away. Sometimes the person revealed is not an enemy. They are not evil. They are not consciously plotting harm against you. They are simply misaligned with where God is leading you. And yet, misalignment, even when innocent, can still derail your progress. A train can be only 1 degree off its track. Yet over time, that small error leads to complete derailment. In the same way, even gentle misalignment in relationships can divert your destiny. Is it not better that God exposes this now, while the weight is still light? than later. When the cost could be unbearable, sometimes God removes what feels safe so that you may enter what is holy. Sometimes He closes familiar doors so you will finally notice the gate He has been holding open all along. Could it be that what you call loss is really His mercy at work? This is why this day matters so much. The 18th of September is not about drama, it is about destiny. You are being asked to choose your path, not your comfort. Jesus declared in Matthew 7:14, "Small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." The narrow road will never be crowded. And sometimes that means releasing even good people whose alignment no longer matches your call. Will you have the courage to walk the narrow path when the familiar road feels easier? Consider how the oak tree drops its leaves in autumn, not because the leaves are evil, but because they no longer serve its future. In the same way, you are called to release with trust, not bitterness. When the road feels lonely, it is often because heaven has cleared the noise, so you can hear His whisper more clearly. Does this loneliness frighten you? Or does it awaken you? Trust this. Once you honor this moment, you will see ripple effects. In the coming days, people will reveal themselves without even realizing it. Some will grow quieter, stepping back, unsure how to connect with the new strength they sense in you. Others will push harder, demanding answers or closeness you no longer owe them. And then there will be the rare few, those precious souls who rise with you, who respect your silence, who stand steady without needing explanation. These are the ones heaven is highlighting, the ones meant to walk with you into the next season. Proverbs 27:17 declares, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Are you willing to let iron clash against iron until only the truth remains? Think of how rivers carve valleys slow. Steady pressure reveals the true shape of the land. In the same way, pressure will reveal the true character of people around you. Isn't it better to know who belongs before the flood comes? The pressure you feel today is not punishment, it is preparation. Gold is never refined without fire, and character is never refined without separation. God is refining your circle, purifying your energy, and reminding you that your destiny cannot be delayed by false ties. What feels like separation is actually alignment. What feels like silence is actually guidance. What feels like the end is actually the beginning of everything you've been waiting for. Romans 8:18 gives us hope. The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Could it be that what feels heavy today is only the birth pangs of glory waiting to emerge? Just as seeds split open in the soil before new life breaks through, you too are being split from old forms, so new fruit can grow. Pain and pressure may disguise themselves as endings, but in truth, they are midwives, delivering your promise. Do you see it? Nature itself sings this truth. The butterfly must break the cocoon alone, or else its wings remain weak. The river must part from the mountain to find its way into the valley. The olive tree must be pressed before oil can flow. Even the eagle, when the nest grows too tight, must push its young into flight. Creation itself testifies. Separation is not always destruction, it is transformation. What are you willing to release so that your wings can finally stretch? The stars themselves proclaim this rhythm. They collapse inward only to burst into light that guides travelers across generations. You were never meant to stay small. You were meant to expand like galaxies. Will you remain in the cocoon, or will you trust the breaking? Art and culture echo this revelation. In the classic European film, The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman, a knight returning from war confronts death in a game of chess. Every move reveals hidden truths not about his opponent, but about himself. In the same way, this season is not merely revealing others to you, it is revealing you to yourself. What choices will you make when clarity confronts comfort? Consider also the haunting power of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, which begins in quiet sorrow, yet builds into thunderous resolve. This is your season. It may start in stillness, but it ends in triumph. Art whispers the same truth. Scripture shouts, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Philippians 1-6. Will you believe that the God who started this fire in you will not abandon it? And if you are still here, if your spirit is stirred, then hear this clearly. You are exactly where you need to be. Do not dismiss the restlessness. Do not ignore the nudge. Psalm 3:9. Astoni asuresus. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. The 18th of September is not here to pass quietly. It is here to mark a shift you will never forget. And what is a shift, if not the trembling of the earth before a new creation? Just as tectonic plates move silently beneath the surface before mountains rise, your unseen obedience is setting the stage for visible breakthrough. Will you trust the unseen movement more than the visible silence? But here is the hope you must cling to. The 18th of September does not arrive only with warnings. It comes with openings. Doors long closed will begin to move. Relationships anchored in truth will deepen. Vision that felt blurred will sharpen. And when the day ends, you will know not because the world around you looks different, but because the world within you has been transformed. Isaiah chapter 3:10 promises, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" What if the new thing God is birthing in you requires the closing of every old door? What if what looks like subtraction is the exact equation for multiplication? Therefore, chosen one, rise. Rise into silence, into discernment, into courage. Guard your space with holy fire. Trust the unveiling. Embrace the alignment. And walk forward with boldness. For heaven has written this day into your story, not as an ending, but as a beginning. Just as dawn splits the horizon after the longest night, this moment will tear apart the veil of uncertainty and flood you with light. And when history looks back, it will not record the voices of those who left, but the faith of the one who remained steadfast. Rise, for your season of openings has begun. The same silence that kept you safe today is not emptiness. It is divine architecture being carefully constructed around your life. Silence is not the absence of movement. It is the blueprint stage where God arranges the unseen scaffolding of your destiny. Just as cathedrals are designed in sketches long before stones are laid, your future is drafted in these hidden pauses. Physics tells us that resonance can only be achieved when vibrations align. In the same way, the silence you are enduring is pulling your soul into harmony with heaven's frequency. Could it be that the very quiet you once feared is the tuning fork preparing you for a symphony larger than you imagined? Scripture confirms this pattern. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. This silence is not weakness, it is sacred engineering. When the wrong people no longer siphon your energy, what once felt heavy suddenly feels light, as though God has lifted the weights off your chest. That strength is not random, it is the release of what was already inside you but buried under noise. Think of how the Jordan River parted only when the priests carrying the ark stepped into the water. Joshua 3:15-16. The miracle did not precede the step unlocked the miracle. In the same way, when you step into silence, and let go of draining voices. The path that once seemed blocked will part before you. Have you noticed how suddenly clarity arrives once distraction dies? How doors long closed begin to creak open once you stop knocking on the wrong ones? It is in those moments of release that destiny begins to flow unhindered. This is not chance, it is proof. Proof that protecting your spirit builds a fortress no enemy can breach. Psychology calls this cognitive reframing, the mind's way of redirecting focus toward survival and truth. But in the kingdom, it is more than psychology. It is alignment with eternal design. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Proverbs 4:23. Every no you whisper to what depletes you is in fact a yes shouted toward the future you prayed for, like a field cleared of weeds. Your inner soil is being made fertile for divine planting. Have you considered that the refusals you give today are not rejection, but sacred invitations for something greater? For in saying no to the lesser, you prepare room for the eternal. And do not think of the 18th of September merely as protection, it is preparation. Imagine the quiet interval in a symphony where instruments pause and the audience holds its breath, waiting for the next wave of sound. That silence is not empty, it is charged. In the same way, today's silence is charged with divine anticipation. God is clearing your atmosphere like an architect removing scaffolds so the structure of blessing can finally stand revealed. Behold, I am doing a new thing, now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. What you are leaving behind cannot compare to what is about to arrive. And what is about to arrive will carry the unmistakable weight of heaven's hand. From this day forward, do not be surprised when unusual openings appear. A phone call that seems trivial may be the spark of destiny. A sudden idea you almost ignore may be a seed of instruction heaven planted in your subconscious. Even the smallest detail is a coded message. Think of how Elijah, after fire fell on Mount Carmel, still heard God, not in the earthquake or the fire, but in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. What if the whisper you almost dismissed is the word that changes everything? What if the crack in the door is not a coincidence, but a divine threshold? Small signals, when honored, often unfold into monumental breakthroughs. History confirms this. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once said, "The future enters into us in order to transform itself in us, long before it happens." His words echo the truth of Scripture. What God has planted in silence is already shaping the structure of your tomorrow. Even great leaders have testified to this rhythm. Take the example of Nelson Mandela, who once endured 27 years of silence in prison. That silence did not destroy him. It prepared him to step into freedom as a voice the world could not ignore. Would his destiny have had the same authority without that season of enforced quiet? The silence that shaped him is the same silence that is now shaping you. Chosen ones, hold steady. What feels like stillness is strategy. What feels like emptiness is equipment. This day is not designed to pass quietly. It is engineered as a divine marker. The 18th of September is the hinge where silence gives way to sound, where preparation turns into manifestation. The smallest alignments today will echo into eternity, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarries. Wait for it, because it will surely come. Habakkuk 2-3. The silence of now will soon become the testimony of tomorrow. Therefore, rise with confidence, protect your space, guard your atmosphere, and embrace the silence, not as a void, but as a vault of divine design. This is the moment to declare, I will not shrink back. I will not waste this silence. I will stand as the chosen vessel prepared for what is greater than myself. This is your charge. This is your call to rise. And when you do, the world will see the unmistakable evidence that God Himself was in the silence all along. But here's the part most people miss. Blessings do not pour into a cluttered vessel. You had to clear space. You had to let go. You had to say no, so that something greater could finally hear your yes. And now that moment is arriving. Think about it. How many times in the past did you cry for change, for breakthrough, for something new, yet still stayed tied to what drained you? This time is different. This time the separation is real. God has not forgotten you, and heaven has not ignored your prayers. Timing only requires your full readiness. And the 18th of September is proof that readiness is here. It is the day when silence becomes a sacred architecture for destiny. That's why your spirit feels lighter, sharper, more awake. That's why you sense that something is on its way, even if you cannot yet name it. Trust that sensation. It is not anxiety, it is alignment. Real power does not always roar. It roots itself deep, steady as an oak planted by streams of water. Psalm 1-3. It allows others to rush while it stands unshaken. The life of Steve Jobs, a visionary who was once fired from the very company he created. That humiliation became the silence in which he rebuilt his genius, and in time, his return transformed Apple into a global force. His story proves that separation is not destruction, it is preparation. And right now, you stand in the same sacred preparation. You don't have to chase, you don't have to prove. You simply need to remain open and aware, because what belongs to you is already moving closer. The 18th of September is not just about protection from what is harmful, it is about preparation for what is holy. God is whispering, I need you clear. I need you steady. I need you ready. Because what's coming next cannot be wasted. This is why your boundaries mattered. This is why your silence mattered. And this is why your courage mattered. Without those steps, you would not have the capacity to hold what is on its way. Even history warns us. Take the example of King Saul, who once had divine favor, but refused to obey God's instructions. His impatience led to his downfall, and his kingdom was torn from him. His legacy stands as a reminder that failing to prepare your vessel means forfeiting your inheritance. But you, the chosen one, are walking a different path. So here is your message. Expect confirmation. Expect clarity. Expect a shift in the atmosphere around you. It will not scream for your attention. It will whisper. It may arrive as peace after long confusion, or as one simple decision that suddenly feels effortless. Do not overlook it. Do not second-guess it. Just as Albert Einstein once observed, God does not play dice with the universe. Your alignment today is not random. It is divine evidence. The 18th of September is showing you that you are in alignment, and alignment always brings evidence. For when heaven's timing converges with your readiness, the result is a testimony no one can deny. And now, chosen ones, as this revelation settles into your spirit, understand this. When God exposes what was hidden, it is never to shame you, but to free you. The closest person may hold a secret, but the truth revealed is not your downfall, it is your deliverance. What was once concealed in shadows cannot withstand the light of God's timing. This is why you must step forward unafraid, carrying yourself as one who already possesses the promise. Your journey is no longer about surviving lies, but about thriving in truth. This is your moment to declare alignment, to embrace trust, and to walk into what heaven has already prepared. Do not drag the chains of yesterday into the doors of tomorrow. The 18th of September is not just a date, it is a divine checkpoint. A holy reminder that nothing meant for you can ever be stolen, and nothing not meant for you can ever hold you again. Chosen ones, this is your marker, your turning point, your unshakable confirmation. So I invite you, if this message has stirred something in your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below to seal your agreement in faith. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. To those who have supported through Super Thanks, I speak my deepest gratitude over you, and to those who simply listen and receive. Know that your presence here is just as valuable. May you walk lighter, clearer, and stronger. May your steps be ordered, your spirit guarded, and your heart inflamed with holy fire. And may the God who reveals secrets cover you with wisdom, crown you with clarity, and carry you into a future no betrayal can cancel. This is your moment. Chosen one. Step into it. The new chapter has already begun.